Hi guys, welcome back to the Higher Buck YouTube channel. As you can see, we've taken it outside today, making the most of the glorious weather.
Wait, Dad, hold up, stop waffling. Just wanted to say, don't forget to like, subscribe, and enjoy the video. Oh yeah, he's doing fish cake, by the way.
So we're going to crack straight on. I've got a bit of a little electric induction hob here, just to help me with it. So I'm going to go straight in with my 50 grams of butter into my pan. And I'm making a bit of this isn't a traditional fish cake made with potato. We do ours more like a croquette, so it's a roux based one, this one. So we've got our butter in the pan, and into the butter we're going to put our leeks, so we're going to cook our leeks off. So our leeks are going to take about 3 or 4 minutes to soften. So whilst they're just in the pan softening, I'll just check what power I've got this on. I'm going to put it up a little bit. Don't want them to burn, no colour, just soften. So I've got those in. I'm not going to add any seasoning to these because smoked haddock can be quite salty. If I do want to check that seasoning, I will check the seasoning at the end. But for the moment, I'm just going to let those sit in the pan. So the other things I'm going to need for this, I'm going to need a little bit of English mustard, Ellie, which you forgot to get out the fridge earlier.
Numpty.
I'm going to need the smoked haddock. Now the smoked haddock here, this is 500 grams of smoked haddock. It was fresh this morning. All I've done, I've covered it with milk, just barely covered it with milk. Bring it up to the boil and off the heat straight away. Then I've drained the milk off, which I've reserved here, and that's what I'm going to make my fish cake with. Okay, so those are the two ingredients. I've got a little bit of wild garlic we just picked up earlier, and I've got some wet garlic as well. I might pop a little bit of that in it, well, the wild in, just to give it a bit of flavour at the end. We also normally would use some fresh tarragon, a couple of tablespoons. This time we're going to be using some chives, maybe a bit of lovage, just things we've got knocking around because I haven't got any tarragon in. And the other thing, I just want a tray, just a medium-sized tray lined with cling film. I'm going to set my fish cakes in these before I mould them and pan them. Okay, so I've got my leeks just coming down nicely. Harry, these leeks are just about there. Just have a quick look. They're getting nice and translucent, nice and soft. Okay, like I said, it's just the butter in the pan, just the leeks, nothing else at the moment.
Hello, mate.
Ralph's coming over to see what's going on. I think he can smell food. Okay, into that now is going to go my 50 grams of flour. And that goes. And make sure that's nicely mixed in. I'm just quite conscious that I don't want it to stick on the bottom. I'm not too used to this heat, so I'm just taking it off just to make sure it doesn't catch. Just carrying on cooking with the heat of the pan. Just turn it down a touch. And now the liquor I just reserved earlier from the poaching the haddock, I'm going to put about 200 ml. There's a bit more than that here. It's probably about close to 4. So I'm going to start off with a splash and mix that in. I'm going to put another splash in. Just keep doing that till I've used about 200 ml. And what I want is a very thick paste. So when I chill it I put my haddock in and chill it, it's going to come together and form a quite thick, like what we call a salpicon, a thick mix. And then that will hold together with our haddock in. We'll mould it in a cutter and then we'll pan it with some flour, egg wash and breadcrumb. So this is just about there now. I'm going to put a teaspoon of English mustard into that. It goes in. Keep it mixing again. Conscious of the heat here, it's probably a little bit more fierce than I will be doing normally. So you can see that mix there, Harry. It's still quite thick. It's way thicker than a sauce consistency. I've put, so far, just have a quick look, I've put just under 200 ml in there. So That's probably going to take it a tad over, maybe 225. That's what I've used around that sort of amount. Right, I do want it to cook out though. Make sure that the flour has properly cooked and these all absorb properly. So I'm just give it a really good stir, Just keep a look at that, Harry.
Aye.
And now I've got my haddock here, which I'm just going to gently, it doesn't really need flaking because I'm going to keep mixing it up. Just place it all into the mix. Don't really want to get any of the liquor at the bottom because I've got as much liquor in there as I really want. Making sure when you prep your haddock, there's no skin on it, any of the little pin bones are out. See, it's going to continue to break up. If you can, just stir it gently now because you don't want to break some of those bigger pieces up. You want a nice bite of the haddock going through it. Now, Ellie, if you can just grab me some of that lovage and a little bit of chive, please.
Chive lady, get on it.
And I'm going to put just a little bit of this wild garlic. Might as well use a bit of it whilst we've got it. Try and get it before it starts to flour. So it'll got a more softer flavour. Not as bitter. So a bit of wild garlic in there. Like I say, no hard and fast rules. We always tend to use tarragon, but we don't have any here today. Come on, lady.
Andale, andale.
Please. Okay, so I've got
Andale, señorita.
garlic in there. My garlic. This lovage is lovely. If you smell that, curry leaves.
Give it a whiff.
Just smell that.
Give it a smell.
Smells like curry.
It does smell like curry. So I'm not going to put too much in because it might overpower it. I'm taking that off the heat because I'm conscious that it's probably cooked enough now. Chop my lovage up and my chives. Don't have to be too neat with these because you know, just going into the mixture. You're not using them as a garnish, but I still want them to be nice and even. You can really smell the aroma of that lovage. You don't need much of it at all. That goes into my pan. I think I'll just switch this thing. Oh, it's beeping away. There we go. So stir that in gently, and I'm got my tray ready. I showed you earlier. Here, I'm going to scrape all that into my tray that I've lined with the film. There we go. And then just smooth it down to the edges. And if it's too much you want to go about up to the lip of because that's the thickness of the fish cake. Okay. And then I'm going to lift up the foil, the film, sorry, just to create a top on it as well. Smooth that down, and from the other side. Stop this. This will stop it skinning in the fridge. You need to make sure that the film is actually on the surface of the mixture, or else it'll create condensation, which can make it turn quite quickly. So there's no air bubbles in there. It's smoothed down. That's going straight into the fridge. 2 hours. We're back then. Okay, guys. 2 hours are up. Here's our fish cake mix, or our croquette mix. You can see it's nice and firm. What we're going to do, I've tried not to bring stuff from the pub or the restaurants because to show you that these are stuff that we would have at home maybe. So I haven't got a cutter, and normally we'd have all sorts of different cutters. It's just a plastic bottle cut through. Yeah. So I'm going to use this as my cutter. Then we're going to panade them. Flour, egg wash, breadcrumb. This is a Japanese panko, stays nice and crispy. You can get it in the supermarkets. I know you can. I know you can buy them at Giles's on Wellgate. I know that as well. So it is easy to find. Can be a little bit messy. One hand wet, one hand dry. Or the better way to do it is use somebody else's hand. So Ellie's going to help me. So quickly, I'm going to cut them. Like so, one. And so into the flour goes one, and then into the egg wash, and then you let Ellie pick it out the egg wash so she gets the wet hands. Okay. One hand wet, one hand dry. Yeah. So we're just going to do two just to show you. So that's Okay. Quick wipe of the hands.
Speed. Speed.
Induction is on. Bit of oil in the pan. I'm just going to shallow fry these, a little bit of vegetable oil because I want it quite hot. If I used olive oil, it might just start to burn a little bit. So just shake these around. You can just plump them up a little bit. There we go. So just get this nice and hot for us. Nice and shaped up, nice and round. There we go. Two of those as a main course. One of them as a starter would be nice. Just going to pop into the warm oil. A little bit of a sizzle on there. You can hear it or not. There we go. Now, if you can just grab me the fish slice, please.
The flipper thing.
Egg turnery overy thing. Let's give that a quick wipe.
Nice.
So we're just going to, thank you very much, let those just fry gently, just for about half a minute each side. Then we're going to pop them in the oven for 10 minutes. Whilst they're in the oven, just going to show you the quick sauce that we're going to do with them. They don't really need a sauce. You could just do them with a nice salad and a bit of vinaigrette on it. Okay, they've had about 2 minutes each side. Ellie, that pan handle's not hot. Pop it in the oven. It's going to go in for 10 minutes. That's all it needs. Probably, maybe not even that. Maybe 7 or 8 minutes. Meanwhile, small pan. Little splash of white wine.
Like your white wine, don't you?
I do like my white wine. At this time of evening, it should be going into a glass rather than a pan. Really. So I'm going to let this reduce down quickly. Splash of white wine vinegar. I haven't got any, so I'm using cider. Not cider, cider vinegar. So you can see that's got a nice rapid boil on it already. It's the beauty of the induction, actually.
That in?
Yeah, that goes in.
No, you.
Have you got a timer on that?
I've got 8 minutes on.
8 minutes on. Okay, jolly good. Right, so that's got a nice rapid boil on it. We're going to put about a tablespoon, 3 tablespoons of double cream in there. Then we're going to put a nice good knob of hard unsalted butter, and this will be our beurre blanc. You could just use the little bit of, just make it as a cream sauce with the butter just makes it that bit richer. So I'm also going to put a few capers in there and a few chives as well. You could put a little bit of shallot in. You could put some of the wild garlic, or any sort of nice soft herbs in there as well. Tarragon would go well. Parsley especially as well. So there we are. This is probably reduced by about half already now. So 2 or 3 tablespoons of cream. And then I'm just going to put this butter into dice. So I've only got probably, there's probably not even 50 grams of butter there, I don't think. So I'm just going to drop a few knobs of butter in there, keep the pan moving. Doesn't want to be too hot when you put the butter in because it can split out. So he says reducing the heat right down. Can I have it when you get a second teaspoon, please, Ellie? So I can just taste this. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I don't know whether you can see in there, Harry. The butter's more or less melted right down. There's enough sauce there for 2, and I haven't used 50 grams of butter. It's quite nice, that. Little salt. Little pepper to the side. Just going to pop a little bit of the chive in there, which we got earlier. Cook with.
Yes, definitely.
Right, a few chives there. Into our sauce. And our capers. Let's get those out with the back of the teaspoon. You can run your knife through with them, but these are those mini ones, so not necessarily necessary, really, not necessarily.
Good England.
Thank you. There we go. You, like I say, you could put some nice fine dice of shallot in there, would be very nice, and finish the sauce off. So I'll give that another taste. How long's left on your fish cake timer, Ellie? You're supposed to keep your hands clean, you see.
God's sake.
And I think we're about ready to go. Okay, guys, so ready to plate now. How long left on the timer, Ellie? Just about there, is it? That was in. I had a quick look whilst they were cooking, and that's just an 8-minute timer that's gone there. So they've only been in the oven 8 minutes. About 190, 180, 190. Fan assisted, you know, or you know your ovens, you know what sort of heat they are. Best way to double check is just check the piping hot. Come down here, please. Hey, look, if you can just see it getting on those, Harry. Careful, it is very hot. Yeah, just nicely crisp on top. Yeah, just right. Sauce is just come up, so we're going to plate. Yeah, so that's keep it nice and simple. This is if we're going to do it like a starter. So bit of sauce in the middle of the plate. So there's definitely enough there for two. Help that down. Get our fish cake. Pop him in the middle. And I've got a little bit of rocket here. Partial to a little touch of the old rocket. Just a bit of olive oil on there. We've got the sauce from the we made earlier. Tiny bit of squeeze of a lemon. I'm just putting a touch of the cider vinegar on there. Hint of salt. Don't need the pepper. This is quite nice and peppery already. So just get that nicely dressed. Just gently running it around my hand. Don't want to break the leaves. I just want to get a little ball of it. And that's going to pop on top. And that's our smoked haddock fish cake with our tartar beurre blanc sauce and a dressed rocket. I've got a fork here. Eleanor, do you want to try? Do you want to try a bit, Harry?
I would love to, but I'll let Ellie do the trying.
It is hot. It is hot. Be careful.
Well, eventually I'll get one on the fork.
Does it pass? Yeah? Is that for tea tonight? Great. Okay, guys, I hope you're going to try that one at home. Harry's just going to show you the list of ingredients. We didn't show you it earlier. We're going to try and get all these recipes out onto the Facebook page. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know any ideas you want us to do in the future.